Hello and welcome to Boomer 11 Live once again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are going to be talking about the KKR versus Delhi Capitals game, which just we saw a record-breaking score once again, 272, massive score, you can say so. But before we get into today's video, I request you all to join our Telegram channel if you haven't already, because that is where you can play the private contest on Boomer 11 and win prizes worth up to 2,250 daily on every match, and also 99 AED, that's 99 dirhams if you are in UAE. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's live stream. I mean, what a phenomenal game from KKR once again. 3 games in a row, right on top of the table, and 3 wins. And to add to all of that, to score 272 runs, that's just incredible. Sandeep, what did you make of today's performance? Just to be talking about it, just your raw emotions on that.
I think the points table right now will signify the amount of joy that I have right now. Coming from the city of joy, finally, Kolkata performing and getting us the wins. And I think this is the first time in the history of the IPL that we have won 3 games on the trot to start our campaign. We have always been slow starters and slow in general, apart from the two seasons where we absolutely dominated. That too, the surge came towards the later end of the tournament. In that aspect, I think it's a brilliant start from KKR, and it was good to see that some of the players that were not clicking in the first 2 games really clicked in this one. And then you always had the OG performers, Russell, Narayan, always coming to the party, always doing the goods for you. So all in all,
I
I think
agree.
it's a well-rounded victory for KKR.
I agree. I think we'll start off with batting. Maybe that's where it's the most apt way to start off with. Narayan's batting, I mean, last 2 games, 250s. I mean, there was a point of stage, right? I think in the last 3 years where Narayan's batting was written off by all the franchises across the world, saying that maybe this guy might not be able to deliver you like how he used to deliver at one point of stage. How does it feel at this point, Sandeepani? Because now he's scoring runs like the Narayan of old. What has really worked for him at this point?
I just think that it's something got to do with Gambhir, because Gambhir back in the camp as a mentor this time around, and Narayan getting that promotion, they getting the confidence from the KKR management that he can come and open once again. Because if the stats, I mean, Narayan did not score in excess of 20 opening the innings for KKR since 2019. So that is a huge stat. And then he had a brilliant game against RCB, 48 runs and 47 runs, 48 runs of 19-20 deliveries, 21-22 deliveries. And today as well, I think the kind of starts that he is providing goes on to show the faith that the KKR management has shown in Narayan, because we were one of the worst. We are by far one of the worst starters in the power plays by any batting side across the IPL. So it's a welcome change for from my viewpoint as well, to get Narayan in. And KKR have scored. I mean, they scored 85 in the last power play, broke their own record to score the highest runs in the power play in this season, 88 tonight. So I think it's just phenomenal. And I think Sunil Narayan is that player. But I also feel Delhi Capitals did not get their lines right. KKR started off really slowly. They had 0 runs off the bat in the first 10 deliveries. And since then, once Sunil Narayan got off the mark, Phil Salt hit those 2 boundaries in the second over. And since then, there has been no stopping them. And I think the Delhi bowlers were very one-dimensional with the approach. They were, I mean, caught founding. I mean, they did not have any plan to dismiss the likes of Narayan. And also, I think the reviews that Rishabh
I
Pant did
mean,
not
that's where
get.
I'm coming to next. That was a big moment in the match, isn't it? When Ishant Sharma bowled and Naran edged it. I mean, I think Pant took the review when there were 2 seconds remaining and umpires did not see it. How did you make of the whole thing? I mean, it just worked in KKR's favor ultimately.
I think, yeah, you can say that there were 2 seconds remaining, but according to the match referee and the umpires out there, I think they said that the timer was run. There was some issue with the timer as well. And also, I think Rishabh Pant saw the replay before taking the review. There hadn't been any sort of massive appealing or of sorts. So it's safe to say that both Rishabh Pant and the bowler missed it in the first
And there was another
instance.
review with Shreyas Iyer as well, right?
Yeah,
Later on in the
another
game.
review with Shreyas Iyer, but you can see that for Shreyas Iyer, I think Mitchell Marsh and Khalil Ahmed both were, I mean, asking Rishabh Pant to go with the review, but Rishabh Pant was adamant in that way. But in
Yeah.
the first instance, in Narayan's case, I think they were all caught a bit founding. It was deafening out there. I mean, it was very surprising that with so many empty seats, it was still deafening, and a
Yeah.
lot of noise
Interestingly,
out there.
yeah. I think that's a weird way to say it. There were so many empty seats, but at the same time, the crowd was pretty loud. But either ways, one thing we have to talk about KKR especially is the way in which they're approaching the season, right? I mean, I think especially from the last game. Let's forget the first two games. I think from the last game, I mean, forget the first game. From the last game onwards, Narayan up top and him fighting with Phil Salt, batting with fearless approach. That's been really good. And one major thing is everybody doesn't want to play for milestones anymore. I mean, Shreyas Iyer to come in and batting at number five, it's something which you don't. Number four, which is something which you don't see. Shreyas Iyer is someone who likes number five rather. Is someone
Number
who
five, yeah.
would like to come and bat up top, maybe at Angrek's Raghuvansh's position, or maybe at the place where Russell came into bat today. But for him to also sacrifice his position, considering that's a T20 World Cup in place, his position is still under scanner, etc., etc., that really shows as a team they're so selfless and they want to go out there and perform. Perform. That's what matters. It doesn't matter you are a big name, you are a batter who's supposed to be in contention for India, but just go out there and fulfill your role, which is being told, and that's exactly what everyone's been doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of, I mean, it was a gutsy call getting in Ankrish Raghuvanshi at number three. And I would really laud this opportunity. I mean, obviously, Raghuvanshi really took the opportunity that he got from both hands with both his hands and played a brilliant knock at a strike rate of 200, scored that brilliant 50. But then again, you have to laud the management as well. Because if you just think about it, in the last game against RCB, Venkatesh Iyer came in at number three, got the half century, took his team to victory. I mean, the game was almost done and dusted with the opening partnership that Salt and Narayan had. But still, to come there and show the composure and finish the game coming in at number three, and then suddenly you see a Raghuvanshi come in at number three just because to maintain the left and right hand combination is what I feel. And I think it was a brilliant call. And once again, I mean, Shreyas Iyer not coming in at number three and giving the opportunity to Raghuvanshi and demoting himself down the order at number five, giving Russell the go ahead at number four. I think depending on the situation was a great call as well. And I think with this KKR team, you see that they bat really deep. You have a Ramandeep Singh coming in at number eight, and obviously Harshit Rana couldn't bowl even one of the overs, but it's good to see that they did not have to. They had Russell. They preserved Russell's energy, gave him only the 2 overs, tried one over with Venkatesh Iyer. I would have been happier if they could have given one over to Ramandeep Singh as well. But I think from the batting point of view, I think it's brilliant from whatever KKR has done today. And I think they had
Yeah,
the
I agree.
opportunity to experiment a bit with the ball. I mean, we'll get to that.
I think we will talk about it, but let's come to Delhi Capitals here. I mean, you reckon they lack penetrativeness in bowling. I mean, they bowled really well against Chennai. They came up with a plan and they were extremely good with the ball against Chennai because they had a very good plan to bowl wide Yorkers and to set a field accordingly. But today you just saw that they were all over the place. I just didn't know what was happening. Obviously, when you're in midst of a onslaught, it's often not that easy to rearrange your tactics, but then that's what IPL presents you with an opportunity is that you have to rearrange your tactics if you're in midst of an onslaught. Otherwise, you can be exposed pretty fast. And today, it really showed the one-dimensionalness of Delhi Capitals bowling.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they were, as I said, one dimensional. They did not have a plan B. And they were all over the place because if you would have seen the graphic of the number of balls that Delhi Capitals were hitting the stumps, it was very little. I mean, around 10 to 15%
You
of
reckon?
their
I just have a
deliveries.
question. You reckon they could have changed it up a little bit when they saw Narayan going all across? Maybe you could have brought in a Nokia. You reckon to bring in a little bit of express pace and tried to pepper Narayan with that kind of strategy of bowling into his body, and that's something which he's always struggled with, isn't it? Maybe really high pace in excess of 150.
Mhm. Exactly, and I think Norkie getting that one over picked up the wicket of Phil Salt and then was taken out of the attack. And then you had the likes of the youngsters, Sumit, Rasik coming in and giving a go, and also Akshar Patel bowling just the one over out of the 20. I think Rishabh Pant in the post match conference as well, or post match interview, he did not really have an explanation as to why he did not give the ball to Akshar Patel. I think also Kuldeep Yadav not featuring in the team has really hurt Delhi Capitals' chances.
Yeah, big time.
And to add to that, the fact that we were already considering that this is probably the worst
Are you surprised today even
team on
Mukesh
paper.
Kumar did not bowl?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think he's not 100% fit because that can be the only reason why they did not give the ball to a Mukesh Kumar. Akshar Patel bowling only one over. I think it was a brain fade moment. The first 20 overs were just brain fade from Rishabh Pant. Two
I
reviews gone
agree.
a begging.
And
And some of the bowling
but
decisions
even
that
if
he
you have a
took.
brain fade, you still bowled really bad to concede 270
No,
runs.
one
I
thing
could
I
say
liked about
KKR
Rishabh
batted
Pant is
really
that
well.
he did not come out there and he did not say, "I like what I see" after considering 272.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. At this point, this IPL, I think we are very close to seeing another 280 being broken. That's how the pitches have been. I don't know. What do you reckon it has? What do you reckon has changed in this IPL compared to any other IPL? Is it the
I think
confidence
it's
of batters
RCB's
or
record. I think they were the highest run scorer before this IPL, and I
yeah,
think they are now on the third
number
position.
three? Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
and by the
fast
looks of it, I
in a
think
week's time.
yeah, in a week's time they are number three, 16 year or 10 years
I
old
think by
record gone.
next week, now you can see another team going on top of that, or even going on top of that highest record, which is of SRH. And that's what I'm asking you. What do you reckon has changed this whole IPL? Right? I mean, it's been 10 years since RCB set that record. Last 10 years, nobody has come close to it. I mean, the pitches have been the same. Is it the confidence in the batters, or is it something which they've done differently this season? The pitches are more flatter, and bowlers levels are much more lower. Lower.
I think with the teams, with the bowling teams that have gone on to concede well in excess of 250, the likes of Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals, you can say that today the bowling or the bowlers that they had on paper, or the bowlers that bowled on paper at least, they have the likes of Ishant Sharma, who is well past his prime, but he bowled beautifully though. The final over was a testament of what he can do. That Yorker to Andrew Russell bowling at 144 kilometers per hour was class. But you have to admit that he has passed his prime, gone past his prime. You have a Khalil Ahmed who is trying to make a mark, but once again, you would consider Khalil Ahmed as a player who is past his prime. And then you have the likes of Rasik, Sumit, Andrik Norkie, and I mean Mitchell Marsh. They are not really on paper. It looks the worst bowling team if you compare it to the other pedigree, or with the pedigree of some of the other teams that they have. So I think today them considering 272 was you can sort of expect after considering 135 runs in the first 10 overs. But with Mumbai Indians, I think it was some poor captaincy, and the pitch was better than it was today. And even in the second innings, you could see that there was movement with the new ball, and I think it was just poor application from Delhi.
I agree. I agree. I mean, poor application is the right way to put it in. But I want to ask you this question now. What do you make of Rishabh Pant's knock today? I mean, it looks good, you reckon, with every game he's playing, that he's getting more confident, and that's good news for Team India.
Absolutely, I think two knocks, two half centuries, and he was not 100% fit, as mentioned specifically by all the commentators that he is not 100%. He was struggling with running between the wicket. I think there is some issue with the straining muscle near the knees, but I think it's good. He's hitting it perfectly. No, I mean with Rishabh Pant, you never really see too much fit movement anyway. But today, some of the shots that he played were exemplary, and I think it was a Rishabh Pant sort of a knock. He was just flicking the ball, he was just using the pace to good effect. And I think there was some pretty ordinary bowling from Venkatesh Iyer in that one over where he considered 28 of the 54 that Rishabh Pant scored. But apart from that as well, I think he started off brilliantly, hitting Mitchell Stark for a six of the first delivery. But yeah, I think great signs for Team India ahead. They would be hoping, praying that Rishabh Pant stays fit till the first week of June. And also, I don't really know. I mean, given his form, I think he would, given his pedigree, I think he would slot straight into the Indian team. But his form in T20s is still quite a concern in T20
I
internationals.
think
That
we'll have
is
to be
quite
consistent. That's one thing
yeah.
we'll have to say. If we can, if we can keep this consistency throughout this IPL,
But you have to give,
team will
yeah, you have to
definitely.
give credit to Rishabh Pant because coming back from such a life-threatening injury, you would give any player 2 innings to settle down. He took those
Yeah,
2 innings, scored an important 51 of 30 against CSK, a big team,
yeah,
and once again a big knock against KKR as well. 54
agree,
of 24, 25 deliveries. So I think it was
agree.
great.
I agree. I agree. Totally agree with you on this because it's never easy and it's never been easy. And you have seen those videos of his recovery and his return back to cricket, and you have to give him credit for that. And good to see him play the way he's doing. With every innings, you're seeing the better version of Rishabh Pant. You saw a little bit in the last inning; it was better today, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get only better with time. And that's it's not a switch, right? You're going to come in and you're going to start scoring runs. It's life and it's cricket, and cricket is never that easy for anywhere to come in and score. And if you have done it, so be it. I mean, you've been blessed. But one thing about KKR, I mean, what you'd like to improve from here. I mean, what is one thing that's really concerning? Because for me, I personally thought their fast bowling and certain areas, especially in the middle overs, is where if Narayan is not having a good day, or for the matter, Varun Chakravarti isn't having a good day, they don't have a plan B as to who they can look back at. and that's going to be something which they're going to struggle, you reckon, throughout the season. Though they are scoring runs, I mean, the batting has been doing extremely well. I mean, they've been out batting teams, right? If you look at all these games they won, it's just them out batting teams. Bowling hasn't really been tested yet.
Exactly. I mean, bowling hasn't really been tested yet. You can say that, but I think the game against Sunrisers Hyderabad was a game of nerves. I think
But
208
even
in
there,
that
if you
pitch.
look at it,
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean, they
an
let
out
go of
batting
it
effort.
in between the 15th and 19th over. The game was really gone from their hands. The onslaught from Henry Klassen. When they're put under pressure, I think KKR is a team that will struggle with the death overs bowling. Not so much with the middle overs because I feel either of Varun Chakravarti or Narayan is going to click. And people are still taking the attack on Varun Chakravarti. But the respect, I mean, Narayan considered 19 runs of 1 over today, and yet his figures were 29 for 1 at the end of 4 overs. So that just goes on to see he's very miser with the ball. That is one thing that KKR will really cherish from Narayan in that middle overs. And I think today they had the luxury of playing in a Vaibhav Arora. They tried a Vaibhav Arora, which is a good thing because Harshit Rana was not 100% fit. We don't know whether he'll be able to recover before the next game, and it's going to be a big
What's
one.
the
It's
issue
going to
with
be
him?
against
If you have any
CSK.
news on that,
I think it's got something to do with the shoulder. I think they'll have some scans.
I
Maybe
hope he
just
gets fit because he's way too good a bowler to be missing out. Because
exactly.
he's
And I
been
think
in
he was in
very
great
terrific
form.
form.
I think he was in terrific form, the likes of Harshit Rana. But whatever we have seen from Vaibhav Arora in the first in the power play, I think KKR have found
Yeah.
a very good two. I mean, not just KKR. I
I mean,
think
that
Team
you saw
India.
with Stark as well today. I mean, once the
Yeah.
ball starts moving, Stark becomes a different bowler altogether.
Yeah, and he did pick up the two dangerous Aussies from the opposition camp. That is always, a great assistance. The likes of David Warner and Mitchell Marsh going out early in a massive run chase. But then again, Stark had a lot of runs to play with, and also Vaibhav Arora was bowling brilliantly from the other end as well. But we have seen that Stark had really struggled. I mean, he was probably nervous. I don't think nervous, but the opposition was really taking the attack on Stark in the first two games that he played. And I think from that point of view, I think KKR had a brilliant power play, picking up 4 wickets in the power play itself. So I think Stark looked a lot more comfortable. That is what I said. I think in today's game, some of the players from KKR that were not really clicking, the likes of Mitchell Stark, the likes of Varun Chakravarti, will surely have found some confidence. Varun Chakravarti had picked up 3 wickets. Did not have a very good outing in the last game, was given only 2 overs to bowl. And you had the likes of Russell not being used too much. KKR did not have the luxury playing say the Harshit Rana as well because he was injured for the 4 overs. So KKR had to fit in that sixth and seventh bowling option, and that is why I feel the likes of Venkatesh Iyer, Ramandeep Singh can do a good enough job with the ball as well. And on a given day, I think instead of say playing two seamers in the likes of Harshit Rana and Vaibhav Arora, KKR can come in and play the combination of Anukul Roy or a Suyesh Sharma along with one of the pieces. If Harshit Rana is not fit for the next one, I think Vaibhav Arora, having played brilliantly in this game, will keep his position in the next game as well. And not to forget, the next game is a big one. I think KKR are going to face CSK, which is always going to be a daunting task. And they have a very skewed record. CSK enjoys a clear dominance against KKR. So I think they would be happy with what they have seen in the first 3 games. But going forward, they would like to capitalize on the form that they have. And also, they have been out batting teams, like you mentioned, like Abel mentioned a couple of minutes back. They have been out batting teams, but that is something that KKR will have to do going forward because they have 8 proper batters. They bat till number 8. And today, you do not even see an inclusion of an Anukul Roy who can come in at number 9. You can have a Mitchell Stark at number 9 otherwise. So I think KKR bats really deep. You can expect them to score. They scored 200 in the first game, 186 of 16 point some overs against RCB, and then again 272 today. So they are batting at a run rate of well in excess of 12 runs per over, and that is why their net run rate is so high. Plus 2.52 in 3 games is a huge achievement. And I think if they can continue this performance, this would be great for them. And also, I would like to talk about Delhi Capitals a bit as well. I think Delhi Capitals were boosted by the performance that they had against Chennai Super Kings in the last one. CSK are a very tough opposition to beat, and they bowled beautifully. And I think they have some positive signs. Ishan Sharma coming in and bowling a stellar final over. and the likes of Khalil Ahmed really chipping in and picking up wickets towards the death overs are two of the positives that they would take. But apart from that, I think the top order needs to perform. The top order needs to click. Today, it was a high pressure situation, and they had to chase